so going live. We're live. We're just going live. We're live. It's Friday. We're live. How you guys doing? Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to my Friday live stream. Today's date, March the 16th, 2018. It says right on my notes, right there. I can't miss it. March 16th, 2018. How are you guys doing today? Weekend is upon us shortly. Fantastic. If you're watching from the East Coast, it's already the weekend now because it's 5 p.m. in the evening and office is closed, baby. The bar is open. The office is closed. How are you all doing today? Hope you're planning a great weekend. Hope you're having better weather than you have had lately. Here in Creston, what a beautiful day we've got going here. We're at least 50 degrees, maybe 52. Gorgeous sunny weather here. Just wonderful. Looking just feeling good, looking good. The kind of 52 degrees, it feels more like 62 degrees because the sun is just so warm on you. It's absolutely fantastic. A couple folks are signing in. Fantastic. They're coming on. Welcome everybody to the channel. I had so much fun last night doing my two shows. I always love doing that trivia, the trivia stuff. I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna come up with more trivia for you guys. That's a lot of fun getting your answers and having all the speculation on what's being said. On the old channel here, the old YouTube channel, the subscribers just keep on coming. I want to thank all the new subscribers in the last couple of weeks that have come on board. Yesterday we got off the air. I think I was at 1,333 subscribers. Right now, I think it's 1,341. And I don't think I've added 8 people. I think I've added more like 14 or 15 people since yesterday. But again, this purge, this YouTube purge is going on through, I think, the YouTube analytical systems where they are eliminating the ne'er-do-wells. And I've had a number of them in my subscriber count where people were subscribing to my channel with no interest in watching and looking for me to subscribe them back. And I don't do that kind of stuff. And so I have a feeling that a number of channels out there who did a lot of that kind of stuff are being eliminated from existence. And every time one of them is, all their subscriptions just disappear. Any channel they subscribe to disappears. Anyone who's subscribed to them disappears. And YouTube keeps investigating these patterns of abuse. And so I think I've lost 4 or 5 subscribers today because of that, but I'm still up 8. Just shows you that the channel is growing faster than the nonsense going on out there, which is great. We needed 1,000 subscribers to qualify for monetization. We have 1,341, so we're 340 past the mark even after purging going on. So I'm just thrilled and happy. Unfortunately, I'm not monetized yet. I was hoping today would be the day. Now the day isn't over because I think YouTube is based out on the coast. So maybe, maybe between now and the end of business for Los Angeles and San Francisco, maybe the Google people will go, all right, let's monetize, the good guys here who hit the 1,000 subscribers by Feb 20, 4,000 hours by Feb 20. Let's throw the switch on and let's, let them have a happy weekend. And, I'm just sitting here going, come on, please monetize me. But still nothing at this point. Okay, so we're waiting. I don't want to bore all you folks with the story of how it all came about. Most of you know that. So I'm still demonetized. So my only form of income is generosity of viewers through super chat donations or PayPal contributions. Super chat can only be done during live streams when I'm on the air. Through those of you who are sending me hello messages. And PayPal can be done anytime you want, 24/7. Just go to my homepage. You'll find the logo in the top corner. There's a link there. You just click on that and say, yeah, I want to send this guy a couple of bucks. He's working his tail off for me. He's giving me content I like. He's not getting paid by anybody else, and this is all he does. Let's contribute to his survival. And I say thank you. Anyone who contributes $10 to my survival, you can get yourself one of these right over here. You're gifting me $10 or more. I'm gifting you one of these right here for every $10 you can have one of my sport medallions. And I've got NFL teams up here. I've got NHL teams over here. And I also have a few other teams, NBA and MLB. And then I've got a couple of medallions over here that I found this week. And I've been showing this little sheet off to everybody. I hope this doesn't make you too angry with me. Beatles, Star Trek, Army, Navy, Air Force, if I got that right, or Air Force, Navy, and Fire Department. Fantastic. Let me just double check that. Yeah, that's Air Force, that's Navy, that's Army, Fire Department, the Beatles, and Star Trek. And these medallions are perfect for, you can use them for a million different things. Some people just have them in their office, on their computer. They have them stuck on somewhere on their in their cubicle somewhere, or folks attach them to their rear view mirror on their car somehow. Some folks stick them onto wallets, business card holders, keychains, or take the circular ones here. You can take the glue off the back of them with some nail polish remover. Now they're a coin, and the coin is a ball marker on a golf course. Powerful symbol. You've got a 4-foot putt. You put in the Army down there. Don't mess with the Army. There you go. Debbie Emanuel, you've done it again. Thank you, Debbie. I see a contribution coming from you. You are wonderful for your survival. Thank you. It helps. Thank you so much, Debbie. You are just a wonderful contributor to me. I just can't thank you enough. And others who've contributed already, I thank you also again for all of your help. Today, the topic of discussion I thought I'd bring up today was when are the best weeks of the year to go on a cruise for the cheapest price? When can you go on a cruise for the cheapest amount of money during the year? There are several times during the year where you can get a really good deal on a cruise. You just have to know when those times are and keep your eye open on those cruise rates. I've got those times and weeks written here. I'll talk to you about that. I also have some news today about how you can get your hands on a last-minute cruise. Actually, how cruise lines are sort of how they handle last-minute cruise deals. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And then, of course, the floor is open to any comments you folks have, questions you have. If you're a newbie, if you've never been here before, or you have been here before, but you've never participated, if you've got a question about going on a cruise, you let me know. Just drop it in the box here, and I will respond to your question as best as I can. If I don't have an answer for you on the spot, or the answer I have is, kind of okay, but my viewers think there could be a better answer, they think of nothing. They think of nothing. They just start typing in there and saying, hey, how about this idea, Brucey boy? You didn't tell them about that. Or they've got the answer, because I'll say to the floor, anybody know? And they'll ask. Peter Heckema has done it again. Peter is keeping me well fed. He sends me $2 from time to time for a Costco hot dog, because he knows we can get a hot dog at Costco with a refillable drink for $1.50 plus tax. And he throws me a couple of dollars, and I thank him for that. And he just did it again. So I've had 2 super chats come in already today. Thanks to both of you. As always, it just adds up and comes into the total. Any amount you want to send, if you can send, I appreciate it. Fantastic. I also do have a Patreon page. If you don't know what Patreon is a site. It's kind of like it's a crowdfunding site in a loose way. I don't want to use it as it's not like a one-off funding site where I say, I need $100 to buy this, send me $100. It's a way that you can send me a donation every month, and I ask on the Patreon site for $3, 10 cents a day, basically is what I ask for on my Patreon site. You send me $3, I put out a mention to you, and I say thank you so much, because if I get a number of people doing that, then I know I have so many dollars coming in every month through Patreon. But to be honest, I set Patreon up back last year in about October maybe. And I really haven't done much with it. Patreon is a site where I could literally send every video I've ever made on YouTube onto that site as well. But the amount of work that is required to do that for me, with how much work I'm doing now to promote my YouTube page, is just unbelievable. And I just really haven't done much with Patreon. Although I've had a few people send me money through Patreon. They just went there and they don't care if this Patreon site's doing anything or not. They're sending me some money every month by just making a donation on that site. And I say thank you. The link is also on my homepage. But PayPal gets me money immediately. Super Chat gets me money once a month through the YouTube system. And either way, I say thank you, people, for any donation. What else was I going to talk about today? Oh, yeah, we talked yesterday about a couple different points. I forgot to mention one thing. Someone asked me a question about 3 or 4 days ago. They wanted to get a comment from me. This is a comment on a video that I posted. And I thought I would answer the question on the air. And I don't remember who sent it. So if the person is not watching right now, they won't hear my response. But in any event, the comment was, what were my thoughts on the Disney line canceling visits to certain islands in the Caribbean because of the damage from the hurricanes. And I may have mentioned a little bit of this on a chat a few days ago. I may not have, but I wanted to just address it if I have to again. I just want to do it one more time. Yesterday, I mentioned to you folks how Royal Caribbean is building out Coco Cay, their private resort area that they have in the Bahamas. They're building onto it. They're building the largest water park in the Caribbean. They're going to spend millions of dollars. They're putting in this massive zip line, a big wave pool, big freshwater pool, a water slide tower that's 135 feet tall, 13 stories, with 13 or 15 water slide chute rides coming off this thing all over the place. Fantastic facility. Well, why are they doing that? Because they can vertically integrate their cruising. They get you at the pier in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, or wherever you get on the ship. One of the stops, if they have 3 stops, one of the stops will be at Coco Cay in the Bahamas. Second stop might be at Labadee in Haiti. Third stop might be San Juan, Puerto Rico, or somewhere else. Well, 2 of the 3 stops are on their property. And so if you're going to buy a drink for yourself and your spouse on the beach at Labadee, you're buying the drink from Royal Caribbean. You're not supporting any local panhandlers. You're not supporting any local T-shirt sellers in the little towns around these places. You're on Royal Caribbean-based property. Now, the advantage to that, if you have children and you're on a gigantic water park resort area like this Coco Cay that's being developed right now, kids are safe. They can run around like all they want. Mom and dad can hang out in a cabana down by the beach there, and they can enjoy a few glasses of whatever they like to have, a few libations. The children can run around like crazy, and they've got water to drink, and they got snacks, and the ship crew and everyone, they're all taking care of them. And they wear them out. After about 4 hours, everyone's tired, and it's time to go back on board the ship. And mom and dad get the kids into the room, get them cleaned up a little bit, and then off to the buffet, and let's eat, and then maybe some nap time. So perfect day for the parents, easy going, perfect day for Royal Caribbean. Nobody misses the ship because they know where everybody is. And extra capital is made by Royal Caribbean to pay for the unit, for the facility they built in the first place. Great deal. Back to Disney. Disney has a private location in the Bahamas that they built out and they use, sort of a Castaway Cay, I think it's called. But right now they're avoiding certain spots. I think it's San Martin is one of them, that they're not going to go there. And I can see why. Disney right now is looking at the lay of the land, and the island was so badly damaged, so heavily hit, as was St. Thomas and Dominica, St. Bart's, St. Croix, and Puerto Rico to a great extent. But the Disney line is looking at it going, we can't take 2,500 people to this island because we cannot give them onshore excursion experiences to satisfy the demand. There might be 3 or 4 of these excursions we used to have that are not up and running right now because facilities are still not up and operating on the island. And so they've decided to take the passengers to other centers instead where everything is up and running. And I can understand it because Disney and every other cruise line, they have a deal where if they bring, 2,500 passengers to the facility, they have to pay a port fee for everybody getting off the ship. Might be $10 a person. It's included in your fare, by the way. You already paid it. But the Disney people can only make extra money from you in Saint Martin if you take a Disney sponsored, organized tour somewhere on the island. And if they find that out of 2,500 people, only 200 or 300 people are taking a tour, an onshore tour, because the selection is so poor, and the rest of the passengers are just walking around, around the harbor area and into the downtown area of the little village there, Disney's getting none of that action. They're getting nothing for that. If they can take you to an island where they have 3 times, 4 times the number of tours available, they may find that 1,500 of the 2,500 passengers are on ship-sponsored tours where they're getting a cut of the action. These are business people. They're not there for just the kindness of their hearts. They're there to make a living. They got to make some money all the time. For that entire week, you're with them. They're trying to extract a fee from you to pay the bills. So that's likely why Disney has decided certain islands won't be visited right now. They're just not back to where they were. And that shows you it gives you another indication of how bad and how devastating these hurricanes were to the economies of these islands. And it's terrible for the locals who are living there full time, who are desperate to find employment, who are, in effect, looking for you to visit them so that they can, serve you either at a tour stop or at one of the resorts, or they work in restaurants. These people work at nightclubs. They're out there doing whatever they can to make a living, and the tourists just aren't coming back this year because of the rebuilding that has to still be done, and it might take another year. That's kind of too bad, but that is the reality of a Category 5 hurricane coming through an island like that, just wiping everything out. Okay, well, let's say hi to who's here. I don't want to keep it on a down note. Let's see who's saying hi to me. Who's around here? Peter Heckham, of course, saying good afternoon, Bruce. 70 degrees in Tarpon Springs, Florida today. Not quite beach weather yet, but we're getting there. Yes, you are. Around here, that's beach weather. The kind of beach weather where we get in the water, get out, and we bundle up and put our parkas on and run back inside. It's a whole different experience, Peter. I like your beach weather better when you have real beach weather down there. Michelle Lucas, puffy clouds in Paradise, California. Michelle, welcome to the channel today. Debbie Manuel, hi, Bruce. Happy Friday. Currently mostly sunny in Chico. A break from the rain at 52. Good for you. A little break there. Wes Morrison, 85 degrees here in New Braunfels, Texas. Floridians, Wes has your weather. He took it from you. It's over there. Yeah, it's just over that way. Leon Bird is here today. Hey, how are you today? Leon, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Charles Jordan saying good evening, Bruce. 74 here in Iva, South Carolina. Leon Bird is saying 35 in Philly. Welcome, Leon. It's great to have you. Teresa McFarland, -3 Celsius in Waterloo today. Very cold, wind blowing out there. Yikes. So that's high 20s. That's not fun, is it? Welcome, Teresa. Nina Franks here. Good evening, folks, from a gray Sweden. It's only 4 degrees in Sweden today. That's mid-high 30s. Leon Bird, hello, everybody. Heather Young, hi, Bruce, and everyone. Debbie Manuel, there is my $10 contribution for my survival. Sylvan Forest, 76 degrees. And windy in Delray Beach, Florida. Uncomfortable for cigars outside. Rum and Coke inside. While watching your channel. There you go. I mean, there's a solution to these problems, Sylvan. Just take the rum and Coke inside and watch Bruce there. Fantastic. Welcome, sir. Bob Hollis. Hi, Bruce. 70 and sunny in Atlanta. Fantastic. Peter, for the $2 contribution again. Thank you so much. Leon is saying, I'm a newbie. Leon, tell us. Oh, here he is. I just saw another message from I'm going on a cruise in May to Nassau on the Adventure of the Seas. Have you ever sailed with that ship before? I haven't, but let's find out. Has anyone been on the Adventure of the Seas? What is Leon in for? Is he in for a good cruise or what? I think he is. I think he's going to have fun with this one. Matt is saying to me, happy Friday. How are you, Bruce? Doing great, Matt. Thank you for asking and coming by. Elizabeth Breen, it is super beautiful today in Daytona. Well, all right, fantastic. Bob Hollis is saying, welcome, Leon. Ulani is here from saying, welcome, Leon, as well. Nina Frank must be now found found deals from $299. 7-night at the Royal Princess and Getaway. Oh, okay, very good deal. Nina is reacting to my question of the day. When is a good time of the year to go on a cruise? It might be right now, according to what she's saying here. $299 for a 7-night Royal Princess and Getaway. Wow, deals. Richard Kornamaski, 41 in Philly, down thumbs up to 4. Down thumbs up to 4. Well, it happens. People don't like my commercials, I guess. Maybe they don't like the fact that I ask for money, that I ask for support, and maybe they get turned off by that. I don't know. Can't tell you. But welcome, and you've got a friend, Leon, in Philly there, Richard. There's 2 of you. I got Philly tuning in today. This is fantastic. Tommy Eaton, sorry I'm a little late. My Chihuahua Waldo had to go out and lift his leg. Tommy, if a Chihuahua has to lift his leg, better it be outside than inside, right? I mean, come on. you did the right thing. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. Jessica Duncan seemed to have sent me a message, but it was retracted. We'll see if she sets it up. Oh, here, no, she's coming. He'll be right with us. Leon Bird saying Philly in the building. Hey, Richard. Yeah, see, I'm telling you, we got 2 Philadelphians here. Brotherly love. Tommy saying, by the way, 76 and sunny in Jacksonville, Florida. Not bad. Hans Peter Fasting. Hello from Norway. 10 Fahrenheit and falling. Hans Peter, welcome to the channel. Welcome to my live stream. I think you're here. You're a newbie. You're new. Welcome. I'm sure you're new. I don't recall you being here before. Welcome. Are you a cruiser? Have you cruised before, or are you new? Let us know. Welcome to the chat. Richard Kornamaski saying, hey, Leon. Jessica Duncan, hi. It's about 60 degrees here again today in East Tennessee, but thankfully not as windy. Good news there. Leon is saying, yippee, I'm going there in May. He's saying, where are you going in May, Leon? Forgot. We'll find out. Leon, we're leaving from Bayonne, New Jersey to Florida, then to Cocoa, then to Nassau. Okay, that's the route he's taking on his ship. Michelle, Lucas, Debbie, and Peter, Brucey, Buddy, rock stars. Oh, she's reacting to those super chats. Fantastic, Michelle. Elizabeth Breen, I like to support local, she says. The locals are really super kind. I never leave my kids unattended, no matter where we are. I hear you. I got you. Well, mom and dad can hang out by the pool, watch the kids run around over here on the other side of the pool, whatever. Leon Burt, I hear that, Elizabeth. Matt, I've been on the adventure a couple of times. They have actually just refurbished it. It's a nice size ship, and there's quite a lot to do for everyone. So there you go, Leon. You're going on a refurbished ship with new features. I'm wondering if they added the wave runner at the back. Did they add that surf simulator back there? Be interesting to see if that went on. Thanks, Matt. Leon saying, because I know that Royal Caribbean did announce this week that their budget for dry dock improvements, $900 million over the next 3 years. It's about $90 to $100 million per ship that's going to go into dry dock. Serious money. That's kind of money has to be spent to keep these cruise lines modern enough and outfitted enough to keep attracting the cruisers, because the competition between cruise lines is so intense for the cruisers' dollar that they are outdoing each other on the activity front anyway to try to keep the people coming on board. And so Royal Caribbean has taken it to their level where with those giant ships, the Oasis class, the new one, Symphony of the Seas, should be next week. They'll be released. It'll be released to Royal Caribbean. That ship has got so much going on board. You almost need to do 2 or 3 cruises to see everything. And that's by design. That's on purpose. They want you to be overwhelmed with what to do, that you won't just cruise once on that ship. You'll cruise multiple times over the years on that ship. And so the older ships in the Royal Caribbean fleet that can hold 3,000 passengers, 4,000, 5,000. When the 5-year window comes and goes, into dry dock they go, and they'll spend $100 million to jazz them up more, because to replace a 5,000 passenger cruise ship with a brand new one, it's $1 billion. Might as well spend $100 million to refurbish the one you got. And that's the plan. They'll keep them running for 25, 30 years, but they'll modernize them several times over during the lifetime. That's what cruise ships go through. It's what cruise lines have to do. Very good. Leon Bird saying, Bruce, what ships have you been on, and what was your favorite? I've been on different lines. I've been on Royal Caribbean. I was on the Explorer of the Seas out of New York, out of Bayonne, where you're going from. I was out of Bayonne, New Jersey, took it to the Caribbean and back with my wife. That was about a 10-day, 11-day cruise. Then I've done a Holland America, Amsterdam, from San Diego down to the Mexican Riviera and back. I've taken a couple cruises on Princess, both out of Los Angeles, right by the destroyer, the Missouri, I believe it is. Also Mexican Riviera cruises. So two different ships for Princess. And then a couple of cruises on Norwegian I've taken. I've taken one on the Norwegian Jade from Southampton in the UK with my daughter on a daddy-daughter holiday where we cruised through the Mediterranean and ended up in Barcelona. That was like an 11, 12-day cruise. Fantastic. And then the other cruise I did on Norwegian was with my wife on the Norwegian Epic, big ship, out of Miami to the Caribbean, 7 days. And again, we enjoyed our cruise. So those are the ships I've been on. I've also been on an ocean liner, couple, one in 1959, one in 62. I don't remember anything about the 1959 cruise, but I do remember snippets of the 1962 ocean crossing from Europe back to Canada. And I think it was a 6-day trip or so. And that was on a Homelines ship. And the name escapes me at the moment. The Homeric, there it is. The SS Homeric, Homelines, Italian company. And I'll tell you, the biggest memory for me on that ship was the food. And in those days, in 1962, there were no water slides. There was no internet. There was no rock climbing wall. No zip lines. No televisions in your room either. No TVs. No radio either, I don't think. So your idea of the highlight of the cruise, breakfast, lunch, and dinner was the big deal. And boy, did we get spoiled. I was a kid of all of 6 years old or so. Oh, were we spoiled at dinner time. My sister and I loved it. My parents had a blast. They loved this cruise. Coming back to Canada, they would put us to bed after dinner, and then they would go dancing in the dance hall every night. Live orchestra, and they were having a ball. They just loved it. Absolutely fantastic. Tommy Eaton, Bruce, speaking of hurricanes, what happens if you book a cruise months in advance and the cruise line decides to cancel due to weather conditions? Okay. It can happen for a number of reasons that a cruise would be canceled. Certainly, in Florida this past fall, I was like October, November, when these hurricanes were coming through one after the other. Cruise ships were literally out at sea with passengers, and they were supposed to come back to Fort Lauderdale and Miami on their return date, whatever the date was, and they couldn't come back. Florida was shut down. The harbor master and the Coast Guard would advise all shipping, do not come into Florida ports, even all the container vessels and whatnot. They were all out at sea. So what they would do is the cruises and the captains of the cruise ships would report back to head office through their internal communication systems, and then they would be sent out into the ocean, and they would just hang out in the Atlantic, 200 miles offshore, where it's calm, there is no storm, and they would be well away from the hurricane activity. Now, for those folks on board the ships, sorry, you can't get home, you can't get back to Miami, and you can't catch your flight. You're stuck on this cruise ship for a while longer. The good news, that was the bad news. The good news is that the airlines were not going to charge you a rebooking fee or a rescheduling fee. The good news was that you're stuck on a cruise ship and everything was on the house. Enjoy. You could, for every night you're staying on the ship, no extra charge, and they kept feeding you. And in some cases, they opened the bar. In some cases, the bad news was you missed your whatever you were looking to get back to. You were now delayed. So if you had to go to a wedding 3 days later in Seattle, you're not going to be at that wedding. Now, hopefully, you weren't the bride and groom, but you know the way it was. Now, that's what happened to passengers on board the ships. They didn't get any extra credits or extra compensation. They were given free room and board, free meals, everything on a luxury cruise liner for an extra 3 days, 2 days, 4 days, whatever it turned out to be. Some of the cruise ships were in the Gulf of Mexico, and they went actually to port. They would go to Cozumel for the day. Then they'd be on the ocean for a while. They'd be taken to Cayman for the day. They get some extra ports in, no extra charge. And of course, you spend extra money in Cayman. That's your fault. You're spending extra money. You didn't have to get off the ship if you didn't want to, but that was the deal. Now, if you booked a cruise for departure October the 5th and the cruise is canceled because the ship is not able to accommodate you, the cruise lines were offering passengers a myriad of deals. The first one was, we can't get you out of Miami on the 5th, but we can get you out of Miami on the 8th, the next week. Would you like to switch from where you are to this ship? This might be the same ship or a different ship. Would you be willing to or able to take a cruise 2 weeks later from Fort Lauderdale? Now, a lot of people were saying, I can't. I only get a week off of work from my holidays. I booked this time off and, I'm done. And so they were given a full refund, and then they would be given a credit, in some cases up to 50% more for another cruise, future cruise. Now, some of you here may know someone who's been involved in this kind of arrangement. By all means, please comment and let me know what you've heard. I heard other offers were being made. You got your cruise would be, instead of a week long, it would be a 5-day cruise where people would get on a ship, but the ship won't be back when it was supposed to come back. It came back early before the hurricane hit, so the ship would come back 2 days earlier, and they would give you credit, of course, for the 2 days, and an additional credit on top of that. But I also heard a story where I think it was a Royal Caribbean and maybe even a Norwegian ship came back to Miami on the day of the return day, the return day. I think it was return day. It might have been the day before or the return day. And they gave the passengers an option because the ship knew that it could come into port and it could get fueled and get food and provisions and get out, knowing that within 24 hours, that port would be shut down. But the cruise line already knew that the airport was being shut down. Conditions were so bad already at the airport that it would be shut down. So passengers were being asked, if you don't wish to depart, you can stay on the ship. We're going back out to sea. We're going to ride out the hurricane because we're not going on another 1-week cruise to the Caribbean. This next cruise has been canceled, even though we're here. But those of you who are on the ship can remain on the ship if you can't get out of the city because of the airport. And a lot of folks took the cruise line up on that deal, said, yeah, we'll stay on board. We'll stay in our rooms. We don't have to unpack. And we'll wait until things blow over, literally. And then when the ship can come back, then we'll come back because that's when the airport will be reopened and we can actually fly out of here. And so a lot of folks stayed on the cruise ship, where a number of folks who lived in Miami and the area wanted to get off the ship to get home to their family and friends, to help them get out of Miami, to bug out, because they were locals. But a lot of folks who were in from a plane ride away, they stayed on the ship. And the ship turned around, left the port that same day, a few hours later, and they got an extra 4, 5, 6 days of vacation time for free out of the deal. So a lot of that was taking place during this deal. Leon Bird is saying, have you ever booked from the website vacationstogo.com? Leon, you're reading my mind. Go to my website, my channel page, and you can look up all the videos I've made. I did a video on vacationstogo.com. I've done about 3 of them now. How to find a repositioning cruise, get a good deal on that. How to book a last-minute cruise on vacationstogo.com, and how to generally use vacationstogo.com. That's the latest one I did about 2 weeks ago. Check out all my videos on vacationstogo.com. You'll learn a lot. And if you have any questions after that, let me know. We'll go from there. Mary is saying, Leon, I'll be on the Adventure of the Seas by the end of April out of San Juan. Michelle Lucas, Leon, Vacations to Go, very good service. Leon saying, tell me how it is, Mary. He's curious about Mary's experience. Matt, I believe there are no water slides and a flow rider on the Adventure. Okay, Matt, interesting. Nina Frank, Leon, there's a free number you're calling, and the operators are really on top of things. A little bit pricey, though. Thank you, Michelle. And thanks, Nina, he says. I will say for vacationstogo.com, just a quick little word for you. It's a great website to use to track pricing because it changes all the time. And if you've got a couple of cruises identified in your mind that you are thinking of taking going forward, I love to use vacationstogo.com to keep an eye on these prices. I do compare the prices from vacationstogo.com to the cruise line's actual websites as well. And I keep an eye on, who's cheaper and if there's a credit to a cabin credit being offered or a promotion being offered by one versus the other. And then when I'm thinking of booking, I will call vacationstogo.com, talk to the live human being on the 800 number. They're based out of Houston, and I'll talk to the folks there, and they're very helpful, very good. I have booked through them before. Sylvan Forrest, best time to go on a cruise when everybody and everything gets on your nerves. Money is secondary. Then it's cheaper than a stay in an insane asylum. Yes, Sylvan, you are right. Matt, now water slides? No. Chevy in first. Hey, y'all, sunny and 73 here in Georgia. Welcome, Chevy in first. And laughing out loud, Sylvan, Tommy Eaton loves your comment. When's the best time to book a cruise? To answer this question for you guys, here's one way to figure it out. When the cruise lines are offering repositioning cruises from one region to another, let's say from the Caribbean to the Mediterranean, or the Caribbean to Northern Europe via Southampton or Oslo or Amsterdam or Stockholm. When the repositioning cruises are being offered right around that time frame, it's called slow season, because cruise ships do not take ships out of a region when it's hectically busy, incredibly busy. When they can get top dollar for every cabin and they could sell double the cabins they've got, they're not moving that ship anywhere. They're going to keep it there. The reverse is true when the ships are coming back to the Caribbean from Europe or from Alaska back down to the Caribbean. Of course, Caribbean to Alaska, that's another shoulder season. So that's a classic indicator. The time of year we're talking about here in the early part of the year, or I'm going to be all over the map here, but the second week of January to early February, you can get some great deals on Caribbean cruises because Christmas is over, New Year's is over, people feel poor, and a lot of folks aren't thinking of a vacation right now until about February, later February into March. Spring break, children's school holidays is a peak time for North Americans to go on a cruise. So if you can go in January, February to the Caribbean, you can score some really good deals. September after Labor Day is an excellent time to look for a cruise, particularly in the Mediterranean, because the weather in Barcelona, Rome, Monaco, Athens, Venice is wonderful in September and October. It's still very warm. So you can get a really good deal in the middle of September, the end of September, early October. Kids are back to school all over the world. Tourists are done with their summer holidaying, and the ships from the Mediterranean, the repositionings, sort of start more in October, not in September. So there's a window to look at for the Mediterranean. Northern Europe might have a bit of a deal, but it does get chilly in Northern Europe in September already. So, excuse me, keep that in mind, unless you don't mind the cooler temperatures. November before and after Thanksgiving in the United States is a window that you want to keep an eye on for cruises in the Caribbean. Thanksgiving is a huge travel window. Flights are next to impossible to get for a cheap price because it's the busiest travel season of the year, even busier than Christmas time because it's such a concentrated time frame, Thanksgiving. But if you can go on a cruise a week or two before or a week or so after Thanksgiving, the airfares are cheaper and the cruise lines have more vacancies. So that's another way to go. First 2 weeks of December, also very good time to look at a cruise. It's before the Christmas travel season. You'll find that everything I'm telling you here also pertains pretty well to the airline seat sales. When you start hearing seat sales from airlines, that should bring your brain to life and go, if the airlines are having seat sales, cruise lines might be having cabin sales. So keep an eye on vacationstogo.com and look at cruises for the Caribbean through November, December, January. Week-long cruises, whatever you like. Pick out 2 or 3 cruise lines you want to keep an eye on, and you can use Vacations to Go to keep an eye on all the cruises for, say, Royal Caribbean, or you can then set it up to look at just Norwegian's deals, or set it up for any cruise line you want, and figure out from there what you want to do. So there you go. There's a couple of ideas. Now, of course, having said all that, the other bargain is a repositioning cruise in itself. When a ship is moved from one area of the globe to another, the ship is going with the full complement of crew and the hotel staff on board. It's cheaper to bring them over on the ship than to fly them over there. And so for you as a cruiser, you can get a really good deal from, say, Fort Lauderdale or Miami to Barcelona to Rome to Southampton. You'll find 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 different repositioning cruises in the springtime also from Florida through the Panama Canal up to Alaska, up to Seattle. You might find deals there through the Panama Canal. The only time of the year you'll get a deal like that other than in the fall when the ships leave Seattle, Vancouver, through the Panama Canal back to Florida. That's the other repositioning cruise from Alaska through the Panama Canal that you might be able to get your hands on. The repositioning cruises in the fall are a good idea. So if you fly over to Europe by airplane in, say, first the week right after Labor Day, right when everyone's back to school, you take a one-way flight from North America to Europe. You should be able to get a one-way airfare for cheap. Hang out in Europe for a few weeks, anywhere on the continent, and then have a repositioning cruise waiting for you out of Rome or out of Barcelona or out of Lisbon or in Southampton, depending which one you grab, back to Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Now you can get a 12 to 15-day cruise across the Atlantic the other way, and you've had 2 or 3 weeks in Europe already. Now you've got this 2-week cruise coming back. You add it all up, and it's a value deal. A one-way ticket on an airplane on a seat sale, and a one-way cruise on a repositioning cruise with maybe a week or 2 of Europe in the middle. Great weather in Southern Europe, and good deals because the hotels will be cheaper. The bed and breakfasts are cheaper because all the tourists are back to work. Kids are back to school. So that's an idea to keep an eye on too. Let's see here. Tommy, love that. Okay, Peter Heckema just said something to me. He had gotten an email today from Norwegian Cruise Line saying $42 per day per person with no deposit for a 7-day Caribbean cruise, probably for an inside cabin, but still a very good deal. Oh yeah, $42. I mean, multiply by 7, that's under $300 for the week. If you think about going to breakfast at a Denny's, it's $15 a person with tax and tip. You think of going to, I don't know, you're thinking of going to In-N-Out or to an Arby's for lunch. It's $10 a person, no tip. And then you're thinking of going to an Outback Steakhouse for dinner. You're looking at $40 a person, $45 a person. You add it up, that's more than this deal right here. And this includes a place to sleep and a swimming pool to enjoy, spas and everything else. Yeah, that is a killer deal. Beautiful deal, Peter. Yeah, for sure. Debbie saying here, we go to the Caribbean December 15th, just before Christmas. Great prices. Exactly right. You can see the deals right now on vacationstogo.com for December. But keep in mind that those prices may come lower, may yet get lower between now and October before. Sean Johnson is saying, Peter, the thing that I don't like about Norwegian Cruise Line's advertisements is the hidden service charges for the 5 free items they allow you to pick from. Rooms sound cheap until you get to the payment screen, laughing out loud. But then again, if you can get the $42 a day deal, take it. Peter saying, yeah, Sean, NCL is known for that. Sean Johnson is saying, I'd rather know what I'm getting early on. That way, my $4.99 per person cruise ends up being $1,400 to $1,600 after port, fees, taxes, and gratuities, and not $2,500. Hans Peter is saying, we are just back from a 7-day cruise in the Caribbean, Allure of the Seas. How was that? Did you like it? Was it your first cruise, or have you cruised before? Let us know. That's fantastic, Hans. Great to hear you enjoyed or did that cruise. That sounds like a good one. A couple points I want to mention about last-minute cruises. We've been talking the last couple of days about advertisements that have been noticed, especially from my friends down in Florida, Georgia, South and North Carolina. The advertising has been intense from MSC, offering last-minute cruise deals on the MSC Seaside cruise ship. We're talking about 1-week balcony cruises for as low as $425, $435 a person. Advertising on the radio, in newspapers, on the internet, all over the place. And people have been noticing that. And the thing is that MSC, in their exact situation with this one ship, they've got a problem on their hands. So many people have canceled cruises that they booked a year ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, longer than a year ago, for the Seaside, because of all the problems that the Seaside has had so far in the first 2 or 3 months of sailing out of Miami. The complaints are a mile high, and they run the gamut. There isn't just not one issue, multitude of problems. And a lot of people are going, no way, I'm not going on that ship. I paid $850 for a week each, and they're advertising that cruise right now for $435. I don't want to go. And so people have been canceling for months or weeks now, weeks in particular, probably the last month and a half. And all of a sudden, there are all these vacancies on the MSC Seaside. Now, the MSC Seaside, the MSC company, like any other cruise line, they have policies and rules for cancellation privileges and expenses. Now, you can book a cruise today for a year from now with a cruise line, and you can just book that with a $1 deposit or a $100 deposit, and not have to make another payment for until at least 3 months to go or 6 months to go. With 3 or 6 months to go, at that point, you may need to have at least half the fare paid. And then with maybe a month or two to go, you got to pay the rest. So it's prepaid. But you're also allowed to cancel up to a certain amount of time without any charges. So you'll get whatever you've paid back as a refund. But at a certain point in time, with maybe 3 months to go or less, there are cancellation fees that start to kick in if you do want to cancel a reservation. So if you made a reservation for $850 a person, and there's a month left to go and you want to cancel now, you may lose 20% of that, 30%, 50%. It goes higher the closer you get to the actual departure date. Now, a lot of people are canceling their cruises 2 and 3 months from now, 4 months from now, on the MSC Seaside because of what they're hearing and seeing on YouTube, from what they're hearing from me and others. And all of a sudden, these cabins are available. And the MSC people, they need bodies on that ship. And they would rather offer that cabin to another couple for $425 for the week rather than sail empty. Because if they at least get $425 per person, they have 2 people on board that might have drinks, especially restaurant charges, casino wagering, all kinds of other income streams for MSC. Better than going without anyone in the cabin. So that's why we're seeing these deals. But if you're a cruise line, you cannot offer a deal last minute where, for example, you get a phone call from a travel agent that says, you want to go on a cruise tomorrow for $250? I got a ship leaving tomorrow. You won't get that phone call. The earliest you'll get a phone call for a last minute cruise is usually about a week or so, maybe at the earliest 3 or 4 days. Why? Since September the 11th, since 9/11, the Homeland Security people have demanded that all cruise lines provide a list of all passengers going on cruises in particular with at least 3 days before departure. So cruise lines have to have their final list made 72 hours before departure. No add-ons after that. It's next to impossible to get on a cruise ship with only 48 hours to go. So today, if you're hearing about MSC deals for $425 a cruise, a person in a balcony, chances are the cruise is leaving at least 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks from now. But nonetheless, they're available. These cabins are empty with a month to go, maybe even 6 weeks to go. These cabins are empty. And maybe they were cancellations that were made. And the people who canceled lost a couple of $100 on their reservation. MSC got 200 now. They've got 200 of that cabin money, but no one's in the cabin. If they can get you to pay $425, that gives them $625 for that cabin and 2 warm bodies or more with children on the cruise ship to spend on the cruise. And so that's where cruise lines right now are scrambling with last minute deals, and same with travel agents. Now, if you've got a good travel agent, or really a professional who is a cruise ship travel agent specialist, which I would have been had I been one, but I'm not, you could arrange a deal with that travel agent where you can tell them, look, I'll give you my email address. You get a last minute notification 1 week, even 1 week. You let me know every one that comes up, because I can drop everything and go on a cruise if the deal is right. Well, your travel agent might send you emails weekly and say, look, here's what I've got. A week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now. These are the last minute deals that have come across my system in my computer. I'm letting you know. If you want one of these, get a hold of me right away. But they can't go any shorter than 72 hours. Now, cruise ships can only sell enough tickets onto a cruise equal to how many seats they have in the lifeboats. So if the lifeboats can handle 4,000 passengers, and the crew, let's say they have enough lifeboats for crew and passengers, 5,600, 4,000 passengers, 1,600 crew. They can't sell more than 4,000 passenger tickets to the cruise ship. Now, a lot of families will go on a cruise, and mom and dad will book a balcony, and they'll have 5 people in that cabin, mom, dad, and 3 children. They got 2 kids in the fold-out couch, and they got 1 child in a roll-away cot or a fold-down bed that comes off the ceiling. And now you've got 5 people in a cabin where next door there's only 2 people in this one, 2 people in this one. Well, you might have 200 or 300 cabins with 4 or 5 people in the cabins, families. Well, you do the math and you add it up, and the ship realizes, oh, we've got 4,000 people booked on this cruise, and we've got 30 empty cabins. You can't sell those cabins. You got 4,000 passengers. You've only got room for 4,000 people in the lifeboats, plus your crew. Window is closed. Those cabins will sail empty. That's how that works. Now, what might happen, what could, possible, you are a frequent customer of the cruise line, and you're on this cruise that has 30 empty cabins. You don't know that. The ship is booked right to capacity, and you get an email from the cruise line or from your travel agent. Guess what? you've got an inside room right now. I can get you an upgrade up to a balcony. Now, if the cruise line knows a month to go that they've got 30 cabins in balcony that are empty, they may offer those balconies to passengers on a fee basis first. They might contact travel agents and say, we have a limited number of balconies on these decks available for anyone from an inside room or an ocean view room. For $100 more, we'll upgrade you into that suite. Travel agents get on the phone right away, call their favorite customer and say, hey, look, I sold you a room for $499 or $549 on that inside room a year ago, 6 months ago. Would you like to go to the balcony for $100 more? And the passenger says, yeah, that'll be a great deal. I'll do that. The travel agent nails that room, reserves that room, sends in the $100. Cruise line just got an extra $100, and they just moved someone from an inside room to a balcony. Now they have 30 balconies. They sell 20 of them like that, and 10 they can't get $100 out of anybody for those. Now the cruise line can say, okay, well, we got 10 potential upgrades. Why don't we take a look at our people in our lower level balconies with obstructed views and see if any of those are return clients? Oh yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, they cruised with us 5 times already. They've taken a cabin with an obstructed view. Why don't we offer them the cabin on the 15th level for nothing as a freebie, as a thank you for being a frequent cruiser? And the couple says yes or no, and they go down the list and they unload those 10 cabins that way. Then they've got these partially obstructed ocean cabins, balcony cabins or ocean views available. They'll contact perhaps some of the inside cabins and upgrade them, but they might not. And that's how this business works behind the scenes, out of our viewing. We don't see it. Cruise ships can go up to 107% capacity because cruise lines have more seats available on the lifeboats than 100% capacity of the ship. They actually have more, upwards of 110%. So they'll actually book up to 107%. And that's why you'll see some cabins with 4 people in it, some cabins with 2, some with 1 who pay double. But when the math is all done, all the calculations are done at head office, the cruise line knows, okay, that ship can hold 4,000 people. We've actually got 4,280 people on that ship in all of these cabins. That's how it's distributed out. But we have room for 4,300 passengers in the lifeboats. And that's how this last minute game works. Just so you know, I read up on that earlier today. We love to hear your thoughts. Let's see what we have here. Hans just got back from the Allure, and David Crow saying it's all a scam nowadays. David is saying it's just a scam. Too many people equals too many problems. Hans Peter, it was the second time for us. Very good. Second time cruising. Very good. Peter Heckema had some friends who came back in January on the seaside. They were on deck 5, and the smell was awful. On the upper decks, it wasn't bad. Yeah, isn't that terrible? And how much did they pay for that? I bet you they didn't get a dime of compensation. I'd be curious if they did, but I haven't heard people getting any compensation. Michelle Lucas, oh no, that's the poop ship. Yes, it is. Samantha Farmer, Hans Peter, love that ship. Been on it many times on that Allure of the Seas, she's saying. Fantastic. Let's see here. Tommy Eaton, how come the MSC hasn't dry docked the Seaside to correct the problems? Well, the hunch I have is they probably can't get dry dock space because you have to book it a year or 2 in advance. That's the first answer right off the top of my head. There's nowhere to take it. Number 2, the engineers have probably figured out that the fixes to the problem can be done on board the ship while it's working, but it's possible that the fixes require custom-made parts that are all one of a kind. They're not off the shelf anywhere, and they've been ordered from the company that designed and built the unit in the first place. The plumbing the plumbing part of it, and perhaps the air conditioning part of it, whatever issues mechanically have gone wrong, they've got parts ordered, but they're being machined and made specifically for this problem. And it's a months long process. Just terrible, absolutely terrible. Samantha saying, Tommy Eaton, it's a brand new ship. Of course, it's no other ship that's like it. It's the first of its kind. They're going to build 5 just like it. They're going to build 5 of them. I'm worried about the number 2 ship being built right now. Have they got the exact same problems just waiting to happen? I don't know. Bob Hall is saying they have to repair it on the fly. He's also went on to say Seaside was just put into service in December. Then he said they may ultimately pull it if they can't figure it out. That's true. Richard Koromaski telling me, Bruce, maybe you can get us a group cruise rate with all of your viewers on the Seaside for a great rate. You could give it a try. I don't think I want to do that. I don't want to go on that ship right now. Isn't that something unbelievable? Samantha saying Richard Koromaski would have to be $100 per person total. Got to be $100 or I'm not going. In other words, they got to give it away. They got to give it away. I think they'll be okay at $425. If they're still flogging them at $425, they're probably getting it. And they won't go below a certain point. They won't go. They'll just keep them empty. Bob Hollis. It's a poop group cruise. A poop group special for all. Oh my gosh, it's just terrible, isn't it? Isn't it just awful? I last night when I finished my live stream, I was sitting there going, what am I going to call it? What am I going to call my live stream today? Because I knew what I wanted to talk about. But what dominated the show last night was the MSC Seaside. And I thought, no, I'm going to have to title the show about the MSC Seaside. And I did. And that video was aired. It started at 8 o'clock Eastern time last night, 3 hours after the first show I had already done and posted. By the time I got the 8 o'clock show put on my channel, the 5 o'clock show had about a 100 view head start. It had 100 more views already than the new one. Just as I went on the air now, the late show, the 8 o'clock show, has 100 more views than the 5 o'clock show. So it passed it and added 100. So 200 more views, all because of the MSC Seaside headline. That's how many people just finding me, just my little puny channel. They're finding that video and they're watching it. It's quite amazing. Richard saying, you got it, Bob. Debbie Manuel, oh no, not a Seaside group cruise. No. And then Kathy Butler sent me a couple of images that I won't repeat. But of course, everyone can see it because even after this live is over and it becomes a regular video, you'll see her little pictures, her little icons, little smelly icons. What can I say? Oh, what a mess for the Seaside. Just terrible. This is a PR nightmare. The second ship is coming off the line not too long from now. I think it's this fall. And MSC had predicted or had indicated that ship would be going to the Mediterranean. Now, MSC is a big cruise line in Europe. They are the #1 cruise line for the Mediterranean. More Europeans, more people go on MSC ships in the Mediterranean than any other cruise line. They're bigger than Costa. But if this second ship has anything like the first ship's issues, the Europeans will turn on MSC big time on that second ship. So I can imagine there are a few engineers not sleeping very well right now, located at the shipyard where the second ship is being built. A bunch of engineers have got to be on the first ship reviewing what's going on there, and they're trying to get this fixed big time. But the MSC has so many other problems that are not necessarily mechanical that this is going to be a long turnaround, I think. And it might be a while before MSC is going to be able to charge a premium price for a 1-week balcony cruise in the Caribbean. North Americans are going to be leery of the top dollar they're going to want to charge if YouTubers keep coming out saying it's still there, it's still a problem. We'll have to see how that plays it out. Peter Heckema saying You enjoyed your trivia last night. You should do a little of that each day. Thank you, Peter. It's a lot of work. Kathy Butler, it's a poop. It's a poop emoji, not porn. Laugh out loud. It's poop, not porn. Peter Heckema, MSC is one of the largest container ship companies, second largest in the world. They've got $12 billion of ships on order right now with the shipbuilding facilities. And they want to build at least 4 or 5 of the seaside designed ships. Beautiful looking ship, I think. Really neat, striking design, very different than other cruise ships. But issue upon issue upon issue plaguing the ship right now. Just all kinds of issues. So this is going to be a problem for us. But anyway, there you go. Yeah, there it is. I think I'm going to pack it up. It's been an hour. I've said what I came to say. I have no trivia today, but I think I'm going to have some trivia for you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday, and it's my 2:00 show. And I think I'm going to do some trivia tomorrow with you guys if you come and join me. I've got to do some work between now and then to get it ready, though. Let's see what happens. Thanks again today to my two of my supporters who super chatted me today, namely Peter Heckema with a $2 contribution to get me to Costco, and Debbie Emanuel sending me $10 for my survival, as she says. Thanks to both of you yet again for your continued support. I really appreciate it. Thanks for anyone who's given me a thumbs up today. I really appreciate those. Looks like we got 24 thumbs ups today. If any of you have one to spare, we will take it. I did read today and heard a YouTuber talk about the power of thumbs ups and how they impact the analytical search engines for YouTube. It's quite powerful, quite amazing. And I noticed that the other videos I've done in the last few weeks, they're all now in the 50-60 range for thumbs ups. Fantastic. So if you give me thumbs ups here, I would really appreciate it. I thank you very much for it. It goes a long way to promoting my channel and increasing search results. If any of you send me a message on the comment bar on any of my videos telling me that it's a great video, you enjoyed it, anything like that, I will respond with a little message back to you. That also gets recorded on the YouTube computers as enhanced engagement with the creator. And that's called a good thing. So that helps the search engines promote these videos to the outside world. If any of you are able to share my videos to any friends or what have you through Facebook, through Instagram, if you think I can come up with it on the spot, through any other, like Twitter, I would appreciate that too. That gets my videos in front of people that may not even know I exist. And sometimes they get shared and shared. If you share a video and say to your friends, share this with everybody you have, the video will then get exposed to 10,000 people in like an hour. And that is exposure for me that is invaluable. Could bring a lot of subscribers my way. And I thank all of you for helping who've already been doing this for me and for my channel. It is fantastic. I really appreciate it very, very much. Again, it shows YouTube this creator is promoting his channel. He's not just sitting there like a stiff talking and putting everyone to sleep. He's pushing his channel, pushing his message. We've got to support this guy. We should be pushing him too. So I'm doing what I can as a small YouTuber to grow out, and we're at 1341 and climbing, all because of you guys. And I thank you very much for all of your help. All right, well, that's it from me. Let's see what we've got here. Samantha's asking if she should organize a group cruise. I'm saying no, not yet, Samantha. I am not going on a cruise until the end of the year, really. More like November for me. Debbie Emanuel, you deserve a long evening. Bruce, we will see you all tomorrow. Bob Hollis, let's go drink some green beer. Peter Heckema, Bob, that sounds like a plan. And Samantha is promoting her site, cruisefulltime.com, if any of you folks want to check it out. Thanks again for joining me today. Thanks for the thumbs ups. We are now at 27. Thank you very much. Thank you for the super chats and the questions and the comments. And you newbies, welcome to the channel. Hope you've subscribed. There's a button here. There's a button here. Just click it. It's free. And welcome aboard. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern time. for the Saturday edition. Let's call it the cruise ship trivia edition of Traveling with Bruce live tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow and take care. Bye-bye for now.